Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Australian Vintage Computer Collector Zoom Catch-Up for June 2022. Before I begin, I'd like to point out that this is being recorded so others can view later. So before we, so what we'll do is we'll go around as usual and talk about what we've been doing for the last month. Last month, I personally haven't been doing a whole lot. I decided to actually do something today so that I've got something to talk about. I've just been acquiring things. So today I ran out into the shed and I ordered this kit from Joe's Computer Museum, which is an Apple III to RGB converter. He also supplied the 3D printed case. I was pleased to solder it up and it worked the first go, which is absolutely fantastic. And so now for anyone who doesn't have one of those difficult to get RGB monitors for an Apple III, you can now get the full color mode with one of these devices. And they're only about, I think, $15 US from Joe's Computer Museum. So that's pretty neat. I also, in the last month, received this book here, which is David Pleasant's book, Vultures to Vampires, which is a history of the Amiga after the sale from Commodore, which is an interesting book. I've gotten maybe 20 pages in.
Where'd you get the book from? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Great question. So David Pleasance ran a Kickstarter and he's still selling them direct. I think they're $25. So if you go to the Kickstarter and type in From Vultures to Vampires, you'll see that he's still selling them, and you just said it might be £25.
All right.
But it's worth getting. It's a good quality book.
He might be selling them through his website as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have a look, Dave.
Yeah, it's worthwhile getting. Like everybody else, I know there's a couple in this group. I've got the Mega 65 sitting right here. So there is that unit there. Very nice. Enough said. And I also had the pleasure of picking up another rare specimen, the Atari XF551 double density disk drive. So that's a nice little acquisition.
Is that the one that was up on eBay a couple of weeks ago?
No, this is the one that was in the Australian Vintage Computer Group, and he was selling an XEGS.
That's the one.
He was selling an XEGS, and he wasn't getting bytes. So I said, look, I'll be honest with you. The only thing I want there is that disk drive, and just putting it out there, would you accept $300 for that? And he said yes, and the rest is history. So interestingly enough, I said, there's a lot of documentation there. Would you mind if I took it and scanned it in? And in there, in the documentation that I scanned in and put on archive.org, there was the actual order for the entire computer system that he had for sale. And it actually showed that XEGS that is still for sale has upgrades inside it. So that's not a 64K XEGS, that's a 128K XEGS. So wow. Should anybody want a upgraded Atari XEGS, that one is that. Other than that, I scanned a couple of documents in archive.org, but I haven't been doing very much at all. So I'm going to hand over to the person to my left, which is Dave. So Dave, tell us what you've been doing.
I'm going to echo you a little bit, mate. I haven't been doing an awful lot this month either. I've been out of town for most of the time, but I did get a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit lucky. I was cruising Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and someone just up the road was getting rid of a first generation Pong, and with the original controllers, and the RF cable was cut, and there was a whole heap of other stuff with it too. And I think there was about 3 64 power supplies and some Sega stuff, and basically just a box of 8-bit stuff, basically, and $50 for the lot, which I was pretty happy with. And Pong works, so I just needed to replace the RF cable, one of the paddles has got a broken cable in there, so I've bodged a wire in there, and that's all fixed up. And the battery wire had fallen off too, so that's why it wasn't working in the first place. So it was an easy fix, and it works an absolute treat, and the picture quality is pretty good. So
I remember when my dad bought one of those home. He used to work for Woolworths, and he bought one of those home.
Yep.
And we thought it was awesome.
In a bit, the PCB on it is the crappiest PCB I've ever come across.
Yeah. Single-sided Bakelite.
And the soldering is the worst.
Yeah.
I could do better with half a slab in my guts and and one eye closed and the other hand behind my back. It's terrible, but it works. That's all that matters. Mega 65 turned up as well, and I think I've had it on for about an hour. I've read the manual, and you need to read the manual on that thing. That thing can do so much. It's not funny.
Have you played any of the games on the demo thing?
I have, yeah. That's about all I've done.
I was impressed by the jet ski launching one.
Yeah, that was very good. That was very, very good. But yeah, it's just... I haven't even scratched the surface on it. It's going to be an amazing machine. It almost makes you think, why do I have, dozens of machines when that'll actually be able to do the whole lot?
Don't go down that road. Don't go down that road.
But I'm interested. Apparently, there's someone's worked out a core that'll actually bring in a lot of the Mister cores, and so that means Mister on the perhaps on the 65, which I think will be interesting. Aside from that, I've been working on my Kim 1, trying to get that working, and new RAM came in for that. Then my oscilloscope blew up, so process halted until I can...
What brand scope was it?
It's one of those horrible J-Car branded ones. It's basically a crappy Siligent or whatever, but just badged DG Tech or whatever the hell their branding is. Just locks up on its post screen basically. So, I can't find a way to reset it, so I'll just crack it open and have a poke around, see what happens. Otherwise, I'll throw it in the bin and get another one. So apart from that, I'm done.
Cool. Well, thanks, Dave. Simi, tell me what you've been doing.
It's a good question. I've been out of action for a while due to a number of things, mostly home renovation, because I have to be the tradesman. You can't get any tradesmen nowadays. But anyway, last year I ordered one of these and I've finally built that.
What is it? It's sort of invisible.
Invisible, that's good.
The green's been picked up by your green screen algorithm.
I wonder what that is.
Is that a retro chip tester?
What is it?
It's the Retro Tester Pro.
Yeah.
Cool.
That works very well. I finally got it together and tested some chips. They all failed. So I contacted Stefan and he responded within half an hour and we exchanged a bit. Yeah, that works. Yeah, it's working great. So, and I actually assembled it correctly. So there's nothing wrong with it. Just all the chips I was testing were faulty. All 18 of them.
Wow.
But anyway.
That wouldn't be that RAM expansion board you were talking about in your email, was it?
No. That's the one you sent me. I reversed, it's a 256K RAM expansion for the PCJX with a real-time clock chip. So I've now reversed engineered the circuitry for the clock chip, and I was going to add that to my hand-built 512K RAM expansion for the JX. I haven't done it yet, but while I was doing some tinkering on the JX, I saw on the in Japan, they were advertising that postcard. I think it's a postcard for the JX, plus some harness to test all the ports. I thought, so it must have some post-testing in the BIOS. And I've been looking at the BIOS, and I unfortunately went off the deep end. So you can put it into manufacturing or service mode using the joysticks, and it will do a much more thorough test than it does normally. So that's been interesting. But throughout all of that, my adapter, I soldered 2 IC sockets to create a BIOS adapter for an updated BIOS to enhance the floppy up to 740Ks. It was on and off, very flaky. So in the end, I trained myself to use KiCad and created a PCB, and just got it last week, and I put some headers and sockets on that, and that works fantastic. So I'm very happy with that. So I can now do that for the other one. I've got 2 JXs. So other than that, I picked up an original IBM PS2 mouse from Japan for about $10. I don't know why they go so cheap, but obviously it gets a bit more expensive when they ship it. And I also been tinkering with a Keithley 2001 digital multimeter, which is a 6.5 digit one, and finally worked out what was wrong with it. So I'm thinking about having that calibrated. So
cool.
But yeah, and it's getting cold. It's winter, and I'm wearing my woolen jumper. So.
Certainly cold. Oh, very good. Very good. Anything else, Simi?
No, all good.
Cool. Stephen, what have you been doing?
Oh, well, gentlemen, check it
out. Crickets.
Looks like a connector of some description.
Exactly. You remember 4 months it took me to get that connector off.
Oh, that's the connector.
That's the Amiga 1200 keyboard connector.
Ah,
well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
We've got the it was what was it called? Chip Quick. That low melt solder. Just put it on there and it stays molten for like 5 seconds. So
really?
Yeah, so that's what gave me the advantage, and finally got it off 4 months later. So there you go. So I got all the caps out of the 1200, and actually I got some ones delivered. So I'm going to be trying to finish that project.
Was this all to do a recap, Steve, was it? Or
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Note to self, don't recap Amiga 1200.
Oh, man.
They need it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the
you can normally do it without having to take the keyboard connector off, but sometimes you do end up damaging them.
Yeah, it's very close to one of the caps, so I decided to take it off. And yeah, I think for the average human probably could get it done in half a day, but for me, it's been a long road.
What I found best to do with them now is to get some cardboard and some foil and some kynar to hold it down.
Yeah.
And then just go for it that way.
I saw somebody do that. Yeah. So I probably took the hard route, but anyway, it's interesting.
Oh yeah,
learning experience.
safest way.
I've only got one of those to do it, but I've got a couple of 600s to do, so I'll be going for the next 10 years, I think. The other thing, so I haven't got anything particularly unusual from the Commodore front, but I did manage to pick this up, which is kind of, they're pretty rare now. I've got the CD-TV setup. Yeah, the trackball is like one of the difficult ones to get.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the CD-TV, I've got the black keyboard, and I've got the black disk drive, and I've got the black mouse, and now I've got the trackball. The only thing missing is that monitor, the black 1084 monitor. So I'm definitely on the hunt for that. If anyone, it's on my wanted list actually. It's one of my top 3. So if I can get that,
I never had one of those.
Yeah, they're pretty.
That's going to take a trip to Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one come up a few years ago, but I didn't go hard enough.
Pat Breen says there's one that just got listed in Germany today.
Oh, really?
Yes.
On eBay?
Pat, would you like to reply? I'll assume yes. He said Javul.
Yawol.
Yawul.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Well, I'll definitely check that. Thank you, because that'd be cool, I reckon, to get that whole setup.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the other thing I managed to pick up was these. I don't know if you guys have these. It's a box of Commodore branded blank discs.
They're the
And,
Australian ones that Commodore Australia did with
is
that.
it?
Yeah, that printing company. So there's a printing company that made those discs. Yeah. Oh no, not those ones. No, that's not the ones I was thinking. I'm sorry. I'm incorrect.
So I got a box of 10 that were open but unused, and then a box of 10 sealed. So yeah, I thought that was interesting and better grab them. But apart from that, haven't really done anything else. Nothing else to report, I suppose. I'm going to keep working on this 1200, and if that's true about that monitor, then might have to go hard to get that, and hopefully it survives the trip over.
Yeah, look, I highly recommend it. We need to know about it next month.
Yep, I'll check it out. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Pat.
Very good. All right, Rob, what have you been up to?
I really don't have much. It's been, I mean, I think, especially because it's been a couple of months since I've been, because last month was right after we shipped some big milestones for work, so I was a bit drained from that. I mean, I put out a look at Space Racing, which was a game for the Spectrums that is a demake of F-Zero. So I was trying to do that scaling and rotation on a stock 128K Spectrum. That was probably the most exciting thing I've done. I will throw that in the chat. It was a quick little 10-minute watch of just some ridiculous stuff. I've been sort of planning in the background a couple of bigger 64 videos for the 40th in August, much like I did for the Specky in April. I'm on batch 2 for the Mega, so I don't know when mine is going to ship, but I'm enjoying seeing some of the stuff vicariously through that, especially seeing some of the smaller things in there. I'm definitely looking forward to poking around with that, maybe try and write some small games on it when it comes. So I'm going to start looking at what docs I can pull without being fully registered. But yeah, other than that, I've just been poking about, really. Haven't done anything major. Haven't really gotten any acquisitions other than a few Game Boy Advance games, because I did a video featuring a bunch of some of those. So that's about it, but it's not really computer stuff. So not the most exciting thing. So yeah, it's been kind of quiet.
One thing I was thinking about with the Mega 65 is if I could, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it, but I don't know if you can like get images of the games, but actually attempt to load them on a real 65 and actually see what the heck happens. Because I assume that the code is unique to the Mega, but maybe not. I thought it's worth a try.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing would be the stuff, because my understanding is the basic is not quite the same as the basic that shipped on the 65. So it's a slightly improved version of basic. Depends on how it handles some of that stuff. Yeah, and
I wonder if the assembler written stuff will run.
I imagine it would. I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, I don't think. I mean, I presume it's doing the same. What is it? The 4510.
4510. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I presume it's doing the same thing, and they haven't added extra instructions. It's just the 4510 at like 15 times the speed or whatever. Because I know in the basic, when you're writing in basic, you can switch the speed between 1, 3.5, and 40. There's like a statement in basic that you just give it a number. So that would probably be something. But yeah, I because I haven't read any of the dev stuff, I don't know. But I don't see why it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. I did see something on their website where there's different versions of the 65 core. So there's the like the stock 65 core, and then there's like the extended 65 core with the extra instructions and all that sort of stuff in there. So I suppose it depends how the thing's been written.
Yeah, well, I guess if I just try Let's see what happens.
Hey, science.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. It's not like it's going to explode.
Yeah, that's right. It's just gonna go. Not interested.
Crash, freeze.
Yeah, because I mean, the only real software I've got is that demo, and you can't actually show the demo because it's got like a naked lady in there. And yeah, anyway. Okay, cool, very good. So yeah, not much on the horizon then for you, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just pottering away on stuff. I have just been busy with videos and some other stuff that's meant I've not had a chance to get back to poking with the Spectrum Next Z80 tutorials. And the last one I did, I got myself horrendously wedged in a thing where my code was not doing what the demo was doing, and and I never got around to debugging it. So yeah,
cool.
I got to get some more time to poke around with that stuff.
Now, I don't know if Greg is actually there. He's turned his camera off. So if Greg isn't there, I might. Oh, he is. Greg, tell us what you've been doing.
Oh, sorry, guys, just checking something out. Look, I've been finishing off the tail end of my study more than anything. So about the only sort of thing is I finally took the plunge on that guy somewhere overseas, I forget where, and bought Cosmic Jailbreak
Oh, so
for the VIC-20 finally. So I finally got it, and as much as he had it listed Nintendo and everything else, yeah, took the plunge and it works a treat.
That's awesome.
So
have you taken it off Steven's site that you're looking for it now?
Yep, I have. Yep. Yeah, I thought, right, I can take that off my top 3 now. So yeah, but no, other than that, just been focusing because I was on the last unit of my study and that. So yeah, that's about my only thing.
Cool. Very good. Very good. We're flying through this. Craig. Greg, what have you been doing?
Well, I haven't been on for a couple of months because last time the meeting was on, I was in the US for work. Managed to pick up Osborne 1 from a friend of mine over there, which looks to be in really nice condition. This is my friend of mine who moved to Florida and is basically, I went to his house and his house has got like boxes everywhere because he had 3 storage units and a house, and he's compressed that down to one house. So his living room, both of his spare bedrooms, his dining room just has boxes and boxes and boxes full of computers that his wife is very eager for him to get rid of. So he was like foisting stuff onto me. Yeah, take this home, take this home, take this home. So I got the Osborne 1, which I brought back as in my luggage. I think as Sim was saying, I've also got the board for the retro chip tester.
What's
And
amazing about yours is you can actually see.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How else would you carry your Osborne 1?
Well,
You have to carry that.
I was tempted to take it on as carry-on luggage and say, yes, this is my laptop. What's your problem?
I was going to say,
It weighs like,
why didn't you?
it weighs like 50 pounds or, it weighs like 25 kilos. But it's like, can you imagine what the TSA guy would have looked like where he says, you're going to put that through the x-ray machine? It's like, sure, what's your problem?
Yeah, you'd probably be considered a terrorist or something. What is
Exactly.
this?
Well,
What is this crazy technology?
exactly. So I actually packed it in. I actually took a spare bag and it all packed in there with some. He was trying to put other. He's got another Osborne. That actually what I got was an Osborne 1A. He's got an Osborne 1 with the external monitor that goes with it. That he said, "You're taking that home next time." It's like I can't fit it in. You're taking it home. You're taking it home. I got no room for it. So the retro chip tester. I'm building up 2 of those. One for me, one for my friend, as a payback for the Osborne. And I can back up what Simi said. The guy's very responsive in Germany. You send him an email, bang, you get an email back within 24, 48 hours. He's got the price list. He's got everything sorted out. I'm still collecting the parts off various things. There's a few parts on there that are a little bit hard to get, but not ridiculously hard. But I'm just waiting for those to come in and I'm building them up. But the big acquisition, I was lucky enough a couple of days, well, a week or so ago, guy put it up on Facebook saying, "Oh, I've got this stuff. It's going to go in the skip if you don't buy it. If someone doesn't take it." And I looked at it and my eyes nearly bugged out. Couple of cartridges for the my sorcerers. For my sorcerers, I have 2 sorcerers with no cartridges. Now I have 2 sorcerers with 2 cartridges. Actually 3 cartridges. There's a 8K cartridge there as well. But wait, there's more. There was a Color Genie, which is basically a TRS-80 with color made by the same company that made the System 80
Oh wow.
Ooh.
and the EACA company in Hong Kong. And I've opened it up. It's in pristine condition. Haven't had much of a chance to have a look at it. Funnily enough,
They are
it suffered.
actually a really nice machine. They are
Yeah.
a really nice machine.
Yeah, yeah. Funnily enough, it had exactly the same problem that my System 80 had, which is that the power cord, the plastic they use on the power cord, somehow reacts with some types of plastic, and it was slowly melting its way through the styrofoam insert. It hadn't affected the case like it did on my System 80 because the cord was actually curled up on the case, so it actually burnt into the case on my System 80. But on this one, it was burning its way through the styrofoam. So I fixed all that up. But other than that, it was in great condition. It came with a pair of joysticks.
Oh wow.
Again, and these are in absolutely pristine condition.
The box
Beautiful.
looks amazing.
I know, right? Beautiful condition.
Show us that joystick.
Oh,
Would you
sure.
mind?
No, absolutely.
It looks quite bizarre.
It is a truly interesting little thing. Comes in a little docking station,
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
and the two of them come out like that. Got the little connector. on
That's
the
like
back
a
end,
mega Intellivision
I was going
controller.
to say the same thing.
and it plugs into the back. It's probably made by the same company. So yeah, but it looks like it's never been used. I mean, the buttons aren't worn, nothing. It's just in beautiful condition.
Wowzers. Looks like
And
the
that-
Atari 5200 joysticks.
And the thing was, this isn't even the most amazing part.
Gosh.
And this was free. This was free.
This one, it was. It might as well have been. Let me put it that way. That wasn't even the most amazing. The bit that was amazing was the bit that I didn't know anything about. Has anyone ever heard of a Klein computer, KC85? A German, East German Z80 based computer.
Is that based on the Spectrum?
I don't think so. I think it even predates that. But
So maybe a ZX81 or something like that.
three of these plug-in modules and 4 of these plug-in modules, plus this, what it actually looks like here.
What is that? It's a VCR.
Oh wow.
This is East German technology at its finest.
That is like some kind of stereo system
I know, right?
with like a weird 1981 cable box from the United States.
Yeah,
attached
exactly.
to it.
But KC85. See that? It says KC85.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Have you booted it up?
No, I haven't. I need to open it up and recap it and do all the other
You're a
things.
disgrace.
I've been busy. I've been busy fixing freaking microbees and K-Pros for people like Pat and other people.
Yeah, Pat.
Yeah, Pat. But yeah, I got all of that, and you don't want to know how much I paid for it. I mean, because it was ridiculous. And this guy just kept on putting stuff up on Facebook Marketplace saying, need to get rid of it, need to get rid of it, need to get rid of it. I'm moving house, we're moving house, blah, 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 blah. And that was like the smallest fraction of what he had. He had PC stuff. I think that was probably the oldest stuff he had, but there was PC cards, 486 systems coming out the wazoo.
That's
It was just-
amazing, Craig. Like, I really look forward to hearing about you turning that thing on and
Yeah.
what you can see. Actually, both the Color Genie as well.
Yeah,
I wonder if you can get like some. Like, does the Color Genie rather have cartridge slot or not?
No, it doesn't. No.
Okay, so the joystick is purely for software loaded off tape or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got to try and get some software. I mean, I was vaguely aware that they existed, but I never even dreamed I'd even see one. But so yeah, I had a good week last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
and on top of that, I've been refurbishing the microbees. I've sent out another 3 or 4 of those to various people, in between being verbally and emailly harassed. But yeah, that's about it. Just basically cleaning up and getting stuff done. So yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, take a photo of your experience and post to the group for the people who can't watch or hear what you have to say next month, because I think everybody's going to want to see the Color Genie story and the KC85 story.
Yeah, I'm trying to post stuff up when I put a post up during the week. I think of one of the microbees or something. The microbees have been interesting actually. For people who are desoldering, do you know about the Hacko desolderer, the FR301? The F301? Yeah, I've got one of those. It's awesome. I've got 6 micro:bit core boards to expand from 64 to 128K and put floppy controllers on them. So I've got a couple of thousand holes to desolder. So sometimes I sit here, and on the weekend I sit here in the afternoon and use what my grandkids call the fart gun, because that's what it sounds like. It's as I pull the solder out. But yeah, if you haven't got a Hacko desolderer, get yourself one if you're doing some serious work, because it's really worth it.
What was the other question? The front of the KC85, I was mocking it for looking like a stereo or a VCR. Those holes that are on the front, what are those?
Well, they're for the cartridges that I held up. So
the cartridges you held up? Those were cartridges? I thought they were just boxes. So what's in those boxes?
Is good study West German cartridge, East German cartridge.
What are those round things on the end of it?
Well, that looks like is for keyboard 1 and keyboard 2. So this is
what?
Web Microelectronic Wilhelm Pelk Malholsen Werktechnik Schützen. It's obvious, really.
The cartridge plugs into the keyboard?
No, I think the cartridge plugs into the system, and then it has like the connectors on the front that you can plug things into that. So this might be the cassette controller or something like that. I don't know. I don't speak German. This is one of the things I've got to find out what exactly I've got.
Google Translate on your phone. Just hover your phone.
I know, but
the wiki page on it's pretty interesting. Industrial and educational and military institutions were after it, so there's basically none available for private sale.
Yeah. So this one's got a big 50-way. That must be the expansion interface on it.
Oh, so they're actually more like they're expansion cards rather than like cartridges.
Yeah. That's like the bus for it.
How very interesting.
Yeah, and that's like I didn't even know anything about this. So and that one's got another smaller connector on the front of it. So actually, this one's got a manual in it. Is it a manual? No, it's just a bit of carbon.
Digital archaeology at its finest.
Yeah. So I need to sit down and spend some quality time with it. But I had literally only got it like last Saturday, and I haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. But
that's very cool. That's very cool. That's got to be the highlight.
The issue is I don't really have any emotional attachment to it, so I'll probably find a little bit about it and then sell it to someone who really wants one. So if you hear of anyone who really wants an MCA85 or MC85 and like it would make their day to get it, then let me know, because at the moment it's like, oh yeah, that's interesting, but it's like it's not like it's a ZX80. I've always wanted a ZX. I'd swap that for a ZX80. If anyone wants it and they've got a ZX80, I'll swap you for it. Because ZX80, I've lusted after them since I was a little developer and
sold last on $50.
Yeah, right. I'll find you and I'll kill you.
All right. Well, thank you, Craig. Nigel, what have you been doing?
Bits and pieces. Not a lot of retro computer stuff, really. A lot of audio this last month myself. Like picked up a Valve amp preamplifier. I've been messing with that and got that working. So, but other than that, I finally got the DMA chips delivered for my Atari PC3, the broken one I have. And they sent the 4 megahertz versions instead of the 5 megahertz versions, and they don't work on my machine. After 7 weeks of waiting? So that was a bit of a disappointment. Then I've also pulled out my broken Atari 130XE and had a look at that. And I'm pretty sure I've worked out that it's got a dead CPU, so that's got to be worked out. Another one ordered for that. What else? Just selling gear and clearing it out. Pulled out my 20-inch Philips VGA monitor the other day and had a bit of a dig around in that. It's got some power supply issues, so that's I'll probably end up passing that on or letting someone else dig into that. Other than that, really, that's really about it. I can't think of anything else I've been doing.
Cool. Very good. I think it's going to be an early night tonight. All right, Henry, what have you been doing?
Not a lot. Let's put it that way. Been doing some buying actually. So I picked up an A1000 from Nigel, which came in a couple of weeks ago. So very, very happy with that. And as well, two things. One is that I don't know how long it actually sat there on sale for, Nigel, but it went on for ages and saw it pop up again. I thought, bugger it, no one else is going to go for it. I'm going to pick it up. So I picked it up about 2 weeks before Stranger Things actually came up on television, and now I think the A1000 is a little bit much more desirable now. So, which has been really interesting. But anyway, but yeah, a bit of philanthropy, to be honest. So if any of you guys follow the Retro Man Cave, well, not me as such, but I actually sent a donation up to Retro Man Cave, and it was just really tiny, but he actually devoted a couple of minutes on his video for it. So if anyone watches his last unboxing video, there was a little game called E.T. by Macronics, which basically was just like a homebrew game back in 1982. Turned out to be one of many Sinclair Spectrum's Missing in Actions MIA titles. So so it's apparently, according to Neil, it's actually on the main counter as you actually walk into the cave. So I was actually pretty chuffed with that. So that was my little contribution to the Retro Man Cave. Our work actually got a phone call out of the blue about 6 weeks ago. It's actually our Canberra office, and it was a member basically said, look, I've got this old computer. Do you guys want it? And they said, if we don't want it, do you know anyone that could actually make use of it? So anyway, everyone knows me as the vintage computer guy. So I get this phone call from our Canberra manager, goes, hey, Henry, there's someone trying to offload hang on, let me look it up. It's an Apple II Platinum with monitor. I said, oh, yeah, I could do with. I said, there's no point because there's no point shipping it down to Melbourne. I said, but I know someone who would actually love it. So next time you see Mr. Lurch, he's a proud owner of a free Apple II Platinum. So which was my little contribution to help with his little museum as such. And I hope that someone from this group actually picked up an Amiga 3000, came up on the marketplace for $100. So it got snapped up, obviously. So
yeah, that I'm pretty sure that thing came up before, and it was in Brisbane, and listed for $300, and it was a bit of a funny sort of situation.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to work out if that was a scam or not.
Well, I don't know. Someone actually, I think, replied back to the thread, and I actually thought it was that 1,000. Said, "Oh, that 3,000." Said, "Oh, it's all working." So I don't know where it was actually that person had picked up or not. I'd have to go back and reread the thread more closely, Nigel, in that regard. And about a week ago, I was just up on the Facebook Marketplace for Melbourne. I'm surprised Anthony didn't pick up because he tends to pounce on it faster than I do. But someone was giving away a free CPM machine, which looked like it was an XT, the old, the original XT chassis. Yeah. And a monitor. It said free for anyone that wants it. What piqued my interest wasn't necessarily the actual CPM machine, but sitting on top of it was a composite micro beam monitor. So, so I don't know who got it, but the guy posted up at like 2 a.m. in that morning, and I saw it at about 6 o'clock. And I dropped him a note, said, "Oh, look, it's not already taken. I'd be interested in it." But I'm assuming that there's some early birds or late birds or whatever you want to call it. But he never even bothered to reply and saying it's been taken. I just saw it on pending and it was actually sold. But yeah, someone picked up a free CPM machine and a fairly well, I would imagine quite a desirable microbeam monitor, to be honest. So,
yeah, I'm not very good at picking up the Facebook Marketplace stuff. I don't know what other people do. They must just live on it, but I can never ever get them. When I find out, it's already a day late or something.
Yeah.
Yes, you basically have to check it, 37 times a day.
Yeah.
That's about the only way to get it.
But the only of it is a bit of show and tell, but people talk about obscure joysticks and stuff like that. Not a computer, but here's some trivia. Does anyone know what that joystick is? Where it's from?
maybe a 3DO. What's the plug that
It's not a 3DO, but you're close.
CDI?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. So apparently these are rare as hen's teeth. So anyway, yeah, it's just for my CDI machine. So I was actually just watching a random CDI play, and I said, because when the CDI came with this, it's basically like a remote control that you use to like a normal VCR remote control, and that's actually how you play games. So people trying to play like platformers and stuff with a remote control is pretty much nigh on impossible. So anyway, so yeah, pulled that out, and yeah, strangely enough, my CDI still works. So I was playing a few titles earlier today, just playing around. So people were talking about obscure controllers. I thought, oh, that's my CDI is one of those. So by the way, don't ever collect the CDI. It is crap. It is like it's absolutely not worth it. Like
Noted.
Yeah, do not. Just
Was that the Sony CDI?
Philips CDI.
Philips, yeah. I did work when they first came out, like in 92. Yeah. And yeah, it's not a particularly fast machine, and video on it you had to actually do by playing multiple JPEGs one after another. It was the only way you could get video on it. But
this one's actually got the FMV
there you go.
Card. So yeah, and yeah, so I've got the Encyclopedia of Sex as one of the demo CDs. So probably can't post that one up on YouTube as a demo as such. But yeah, two regrets in life. One, my 386, I had a it's called a Real Magic MPEG 1 card.
Yeah, wow.
I gave it away, threw it out. I thought you're doing me a favor. Biggest regret in my life, because I had a whole bunch of CDI libraries at the time that I gave away with it. And in my 486 days, had a Gus card. I gave that away as well. So I think, I should have kept them. Like, don't care about the computers. I just wanted the 2 cards out of them. But anyway, yeah. So not much more for me. Yeah, and Craig, I'm on Craig's waiting list for because I'm sure there's like 5 million people on his micro:bit list. So I'm just waiting patiently to get on my list for.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the RAM chips are in country from AliExpress.
Yeah.
And half of them may even work, which is why I'm getting the retro chip tester built up so I can actually test them before I solder them into the bees.
Yeah.
But I'm still waiting on 2793s. Yeah. They're coming from God knows where, rare as hen's teeth. But once I've got those, I'll be able to build up the disk controller versions.
Yeah, no.
I'm looking at maybe implementing a StarNet style. What's the thing? Fujinet, StarNet type interface for the micro:bit that plugs into the parallel port. I'll be speaking to Ewan about what the protocol is, and I can actually get it to boot off the parallel port. So I'm sort of fiddling around with, mentally something going on like that.
That would be amazing, Craig. The Australian contribution to the Fujinet project.
Yeah. I've exchanged a few messages with Tom Cherry Holmes, who's the guy who runs it. Very busy guy. And then I did my back end, and I wasn't able to do any more on it. But I'm going to get back into it once I clear this backlog of stuff that I've got, which maybe never. So I may just have to make time.
Yeah, I did have a question for Mr. Merton. David, were you the one? I can't remember. Someone posted up. They sent a Commodore PET metal chassis to not a fabricator, a powder coater. So basically sandblasted and actually had it all powder coated back into the original Commodore PET colors. Was that you that actually organised that?
No, that was Dave Duke over in the UK.
Oh, okay. It looked awesome.
Yeah, it did. It did.
There's another guy in Melbourne who can do it too.
Or is that with
we don't want to mention his name.
Oh no, not painting, powder coated. Yeah.
No, I actually have bought some stuff from Dave in the past, and next time I get some stuff from him, he's promised me a bag of the appropriate coloured powder coat, so I can actually do a couple of my machines. So
yeah. So
do you actually know what you're doing with that sort of stuff, with sandblasting and painting?
Yeah, I do. I've got friends in low places as well. So.
So if I had known you in the mid 1980s, Dave, I went to a tech school. Everyone remember the days when we had techs?
Yes, I wanted to go to a tech school, but they shut them down just as I was getting there.
Yeah, so we had all the sandblasters and the powder coating. facilities in the workshop, so could have done it for free.
Absolutely.
But,
well, if you look on the internet, there's a whole lot of guys who do that stuff. Do videos for that now, and they use like the smokers that they use for meat. You get those big tall glass cabinets, and they do the powder coating, and then they hang it in their meat cooker because it's got the right temperature control and it has about the right temperature range, and they get great
Yeah, we
results.
used to do that at our high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if anyone's got a Commodore PET or anything with that era with the metal chassis, it'd be a great way to sort of bring them back to life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a stack of IBM PCs that have got some rust on them that I got from my mate in the States, a pallet of them. And some of the cases probably need recoating, and you could either paint them or spray them, but they probably need to be repowder coated. So that might be something I might have a look at.
Yeah. I've got Rusty the Pet, so
if you guys figure out a person who can do it, I've got some stuff I want to send that person to.
What do you do about the label on the pet though when you powder coat it? How do
you get them new?
Yep.
There's a person that makes the identical. I've got one in the spare room, so I've got a pet that I've got my Rusty pet, which actually happens to have the mini pet in it. So it's got a mini pet inside, and but its case looks terrible, and I'd love to get it sandblasted and repainted. But you can just order identical stickers. They look exactly the same. Yes, they're not exactly the same. They weren't made in 1981, but they look exactly the same. They have the same physical texture. They're exactly the same, and they can get it in every single design. They are expensive, but
$30 bucks. I think I paid for my blue one.
Yeah, but then I think I paid $30 plus like 50. It was $50 at the end of the day for a sticker.
Oh, we shipping, yeah.
And it's just like, wow, $50 for a sticker. Yeah. Oh well, we're idiots.
And your point. On a unrelated topic, does anyone know anything about doing resin molding? Because I've got all these microbe cases, and for those of you who've seen them, they've etched Lizero High School right across the top of all the cases. And I've been thinking about how hard would it be to create a resin version of that and actually mold some new cases for it. So I've been watching lots of YouTube porn about silicon molds and 3D molding, and I was wondering if anyone had actually done anything like that, had some experience in doing it. Because I do have some good cases here on my bees. I was thinking maybe creating some duplicates out of resin, or even maybe doing a transparent one would look really cool.
Craig, I would have thought sanding it down, putting filler, and then actually putting just like actual paint coat over the top might be a better solution.
I did think about that. The problem is because they're injection molded, I've got the microtexture so that I can get them out of the molds.
Oh, yeah.
And duplicating that microtexture, if it was just smooth, not a problem. But it's got that really fine microtexture on it. And for me, that's part of the aesthetic. And if you sanded it back, you could certainly sand it back and fill it in, but it wouldn't have that same microtexture. And being a bit of a perfectionist like that, it's like
I'm pretty sure David Murray, if anyone remembers the 8-bit guy, he did one with a Bell and Howard.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he had exactly the same problem. That I can't remember. You have to go back and look at the video, but they actually got the rippling.
Yeah, I think he got some like rubbery sort of. I'm going from memory now, but I think he got some rubbery material on a good part,
right?
And
then
made that an investment of the good texture, and then got some stuff that would fill in the appropriate bit. Smoothed it off as best you could, and then actually use the investment to actually imprint onto that. So,
being said, a resin mold would be also very cool.
I know, right?
Oh, it would be awesome, wouldn't
so
it?
you could do like a clear case, and also I've got some microbees that don't have cases.
Because the plus side is you could sell them the resin mold and the damaged top, and you could say your choice.
Choose your pick, And as I said, I've got microbees without cases, so I have nothing to go. So I'd need to create new cases. And I know that Ewan's coming up with his new Microbee Plus, but he hasn't got cases for them. So having a source of cases would be nice. But anyway, I just wondered if anyone had any experience of that. That's something I might have a look at and see what I can come up with.
Would 3D printing be an option?
Yeah, I've got both I've got a filament printer which I've used for doing all sorts of things, but its resolution's not good enough. And a resin printer that's capable of printing stuff that's like this big, you'd either have to do it in multiple pieces, or
No, you
have
don't.
to-
No, you don't. I've got a 400 by 400 by 500 filament printer.
Yeah. Okay.
And give you an idea, that's in two parts. It's on my old printer, but that's for actually a PET SK keyboard.
Okay.
And they're about, I don't know, 30 centimeters wide. So
Okay.
it's and that's at 50% infill, and it's solid, really solid.
Sure.
So it can be done.
So yeah, I said I've got a filament printer here, which I've used for doing all sorts of things. And I actually had one that had a wider base on it, but again, you can never get it really transparent with filament print. You can get clear, but you can't get transparent. And the surface texture, you've got to sand it, blah 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 blah. And it's like if you just resin cast, it's like boom, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But your setup costs is very high.
Plus, also with exactly. But on the other side, well, the filament that'll take several hours, 24 hours or so to print.
At least.
Yeah. Whereas resin, it's like done and you're done. So anyway, pros and cons. See how I go.
Cool. Very good. So I'm going to ask the invisible people below, Justin, are you actually there? And if so, what have you been doing?
I am. Give me a second to set this one up. There we go. Not a lot. I think the most I've done was acquire a per action replay for the PS1. And other than that, it was the Pokemon Pinball cartridge for the Game Boy Color, which actually wasn't working, so I had to give that a tiny little fix. One of those like gold plated pins had corroded away like directly in the middle.
Oh wow.
It's a weird spot. Because it wasn't on the interface side, it was on the like more in the cartridge. I'm like, why plug it in? Like, why is it not working? And I'm like looking at the those interface pins, and I'm like, one's like missing basically. They put a bit of gray light in there, and away it went, and it was all good.
I think it's fair to say that the winter conditions have changed everybody's focus in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So yeah, just like everybody else, Justin, a very quiet time.
Yeah, other than that, I moved house probably not that long ago, so most of the stuff's packed away at the moment.
Yeah, cool. No worries. Well, thanks, Justin.
Right.
Is Pat around, or is Pat still doing stuff? Nope. Pat is not present. All right. And is Grant actually there? I'm guessing the answer is no. All right. Yeah, cool. No worries. No mic, no cam. Well, the only thing I will fill in, and it's not vintage computer related, but I've continued to spend a truckload of money on finishing that collection that you can see behind me. So I am so close. So I am missing only 4 titles now of the 125 original Intellivision games, but I've also been accumulating even more of the homebrew titles, so it's almost a complete collection, but I hope by the end of the year it will be complete. And boy, it's not financially worth it, I'll give you the tip. So if you want to just grab some money and throw it in a bin just collect cardboard boxes with plastic things in them. It's
we're not in this for the money, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately for me, because I also as Simi does collect JX stuff, and I'll just grab something like so. The JX comes, the titles are all in these plastic cases, and they're pretty cool titles. A truckload has just appeared on eBay, and I'm pretty sure someone's trying to bankrupt me. But I don't know if I'm going to go crazy. I can't focus on everything. I need to wake up to myself and stop buying things just to be a completist. Yeah,
think
so
you have 8 days until they.
yeah, I know. I've got them all. I'm following them all on my watch list. I need to keep thinking about it. But I need to talk to my JX friends. I might add you to the group, Simi, and just say, hey, guys, what are you guys going to buy? Because and see if we can work out what everyone wants. But that generally doesn't work. But,
I have the same problem with and you can see the tinny prints on the wall behind me, and we've got those ones, but if you go down the wall,
oh, wow.
they just disappear off into the distance.
That's a massive room.
And then I've got more on the wall over there. So, but I have the same problem with those tinny prints. It's like every time I buy one, it's like, that's the last one. That's the last one. And then one comes up on eBay and I don't have it. It's like, oh, but it's so nice, but I need to buy it. And there's one up there at the moment, which I'm like, yeah, but do I really need where? And if I buy another one, where am I going to put it? But it's like the other part, the other thing on my other shoulder goes, you'll find somewhere to put it. You'll find something. You don't need another one, Craig, but you really do need that because you want to get the whole set. But you don't need the whole set, Craig. Yes, you do. And it's like, so I'm angsting over that at the moment, and I'll get it sent to my friend in the US. Or actually, I might get it sent to the office in Washington, Washington State, where I go to every 3 months and get them to hold on to it for me. So it's like, but I feel your pain. It's like, don't really need to, but need is a 4-letter word, just like want. And you know,
they're two sides of the same coin, mate.
They totally are. They totally are.
Well, the real Pat Breen has just arrived, where he's going to speak for about an hour about the exploits that he's been doing over the last month. Apparently, it's an overwhelming tale. So please begin, Pat.
I'm just wondering what you're missing in your in television lineup there.
Learning Fun 1 and 2, Body Slam Wrestling, Congo Bongo.
Okay.
And I'm closing in on 2 or 3 of those now.
Really?
I actually have a couple of learning funds somewhere here.
No,
no,
you don't. Surely you don't.
You've probably got word fun and math fun.
Learning Fun looks like this.
I have.
You see this, Pat? Do you see this, Pat?
Is that real?
I don't.
Yeah.
I
can see
why.
why
I have to have a look again.
I can see you're bankrupting yourself then.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great title that is.
Oh, I tell you what, hours of entertainment. Hours and hours.
So I won't ask you how much you paid for it.
I do know the other 4 I have are educational titles, so I'll have to have a look what I got there again. I just
you absolutely must. You absolutely must. And only contact me and me alone, and I'll give you a fair price, which no one could possibly say against me. Anyway, Pat, you were going to tell us this amazing tale.
Oh yeah. What have I got to say? Look, I've been pretty busy, but I would things that are noteworthy. Too bad Murray isn't on the line. I've just recently there's been a lot of Hitachi software for the various basic master models that has come up in Japan, and at great expense I've been hoovering it all up. It's because it basically almost never comes up. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll put in snipes that are way higher than what I reckon I'll do versus anyone else would do. And most of the time I've been pretty good. However, and this is going to be kind of boring, but there's a model that the final model of the Basic Master is this thing called the S1, which is quite a powerful 8-bit computer, 6809 based. Anyway, if you want to use the disk drives on it, you need disk basic, like a lot of other Japanese computers. And 2 separate copies of disk basic went up on the auction sites. And I went, finally, I can solve this problem properly. So I put in what I thought was some pretty outrageous bids. And both copies, and they were sold separately, separate listings. Both of them went for over 1,200 Aussie each for disk basic. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. I don't know what I'm going to do the next time it comes up, because if that's how much it's going to cost to acquire, but anyway, that's significantly more than the systems are pretty rare as it is. So
I used to have a System 1.
no, this is the
The
S1.
S1. I used to have it. It's on my old website. You'll probably see it there in its rotting carcass,
Right.
which I've been updated for 20 years. But I used to have the S1.
Yeah.
And I used to have a box of software, and I just liquidated it on eBay
Oh,
15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
The thing I didn't like about the S1 is it had the detachable keyboard, and mine was all gross
the
and
cables. The cables.
all it gone all gooey, and there was just the
Yeah.
core and molten.
Yeah, the keyboard cable deteriorates on all of them. Yeah, it's I don't know what kind of plastic they used, but so I've been doing that. I noticed what you just said about the RGB thing. I literally picked up an Apple III like 2 days ago. So
I've got a second one. Would you like me to make it?
Sure. Yeah,
I'll make it for you.
Yeah.
I've got a second one. I just bought it because I thought, I don't know why I bought two. It just wanted to reduce the freight cost from America.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the only other Apple II model I don't have is like an Apple II Plus of some description, whether it's a Euro Plus or a American one. But apart from that, I really I've got all the Apple IIs, and I guess the 3 is the last, or not the last. But anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
What else? There was actually an interesting posting today on the Apple II users group where some guy had recreated Apple II card that you throw onto a ISOBus on a PC. So he had built it up. I think the design's on GitHub now. But I mean, the chips were pretty tight and close together. So even though most of it was through hole, I think there would be a pretty intense soldering job. But that was pretty interesting.
Was that the one that basically uses the keyboard and monitor, and everything else was external?
Yeah, well, I didn't look too closely at it, but the outputs of the card, it had a composite port and a couple of, well, it looked like a couple of 9-pin connectors, which like as in a DE9, I think, which I don't know what those were for. I didn't look. I just thought, oh, that would be an interesting card to work on, and then I thought, oh man, I can barely do. I don't need to go and chase these kind of niche things. But it looked. I think it is one of those kinds of cards, though. But anyway, it looked interesting to me. It's just trying to think if there's anything else that's been interesting going on. No, not really. I don't think.
Have you loaded Super Mario Brothers onto your LTO flash yet?
No, but I mean that looked pretty good. Did you end up playing it more than what you recorded, or?
Yes, I did find that mine doesn't have anything past level 6. Okay. So I went to level 7 and I went back to level 1. I'm like,
okay.
Oh well. But I tell you what, 1,300 views. I'm gonna smash Rob's YouTube channel. I tell you what, it's the worst YouTube video in history. I've got a few comments bagging my iPhone recording a CRT style.
Well, the other interesting story that came up recently was that story about the counterfeiting big box, well, not big box, old titles like Ultima and
Ziploc baggies.
Yeah. So some guy on the big box forum. I think I'm on that forum, but I never look at it because every time I have a look at it, there's a posting from 2 days ago, and anything that I would have wanted to pick up has already gone in like 8 seconds after the listing goes out. So I don't know. I'm not a sophisticated Facebook user, so but I thought that was rather interesting.
Yeah, the counterfeit stuff's pretty bad, but I tell you what, they've obviously got some skills.
Yeah. Well, fooled a lot of people, it seems. So,
yeah, cool. Well,
anyway, not much more than that.
Is there anything anybody else wants to talk about, like things that are happening in the next couple of weeks or anything like that because other than that, we haven't got much to say other than I can't schedule this Zoom session for the second Sunday of the month because I physically won't be in. I won't be here, so I'll just change the date next month. But other than that, what else do we have to talk about? What else are you guys doing? What are your plans now?
This is probably more for Melburnians than anybody else, but Joel Hopkins, if you know him from The Last Gamer, so it looks like he's actually created a, I suppose, a user group in Melbourne for people interested in vintage computers. Anyway, we're just a few of us were talking in one of the Facebook groups saying that would be the fourth one now in Melbourne. So I was saying, aren't you sort of like robbing Peter to pay Paul? Because let's face it, there aren't that many of us out there. So it's even worth actually trying to put one together. I just thought it was actually quite fascinating that someone's actually trying to create another group. And there's 4 that I actually know of. There's probably others as well, which was quite interesting.
So just tell me, what like 4 physical catch-up groups?
Yeah, so you can probably add us because meeting at the swap meets themselves. There's a group called Retro Tuesday. That meet on a Tuesday, funny enough, and that's at a place called Wadham House, which I think is actually where the Melbourne Amiga users group.
No, it's the Amiga users group meet there.
Yeah.
The Melbourne group meet in Mooney Ponds.
Mooney Ponds, okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a number that are out there.
There's new groups meeting at Wadham as well. So
yeah. So I don't know, I haven't joined the actual group because it's a private group, but looking at it, there weren't that many members at the time. So in there, but I think the guy actually posted on our group, or maybe not. But anyway, I just thought it was really interesting. The good thing is that there's obviously still interest actually in vintage computing, but are we above a niche market to actually have 4 groups actually in the Melbourne? I know this is only really for Melbourne users, but it's actually just interesting. Is Melbourne big enough to actually have that many number of user groups?
Well, I would say possibly. The reason why I say it is Mooney Ponds is not accessible for me. Yeah. Anything really in the city is not really that accessible for me, unless they're opening one like
Sydney, aren't you?
So no, I'm me.
Yeah, I'm kidding. It's a joke.
No, I think if it's Pakenham, maybe. But yeah, no. My next question is: have any of you guys gone to any Australian things like PAX or anything like that? And what does that have for people like us? Does that have anything for us?
So what they've done in previous years at PAX is they have the classic gaming section, which is they usually get a bunch of arcade pinball tables and a bunch of consoles and old micros set up with games running. In the earlier years of PAX Australia, there were a few panels about old game stuff, about like retro game and vintage computer stuff. I was actually on a panel one year that was about preserving Australian games. There's not so much, nothing panel-wise, there hasn't been much about like that kind of stuff now. So basically, if you're going to go to PAX, you maybe play some games and stuff. They don't really have, like I said, they've got a few systems set out and stuff, but they don't really have, you're not really doing a buy or sell or that kind of stuff.
Oh, really? It's just basically go and play video games there.
Yeah, like there's video game stuff, board game stuff. A lot of it's focused on like modern gaming. So you can go, there's usually a section that's got a bunch of in progress games being written by Australian developers for modern systems. There's a massive bunch of board gaming stuff, and there's a few stalls selling that stuff. Unfortunately, for the classic gaming, it's just like this small section where there's a bunch of stuff set up and tournaments and things like that.
So Rob, I reckon post-COVID, it will probably be a bigger market. You know how we saw the vintage computer market just grow exponentially because of lockdown. I wonder if actually PAX will actually
I feel like, I think it's going to be interesting because I mean, this weekend there was Oz Comic Con in the convention center, and I know from talking to a lot of people I work with, that just in terms of like not really doing PAX because of just the concerns of that many people in that close a space with the COVID situation. I have to check again what the requirements are, whether it's just being masked up or if there's actual proper demonstration of demonstration of being vaxxed and being clear or whatever. But that's also a thing. So yeah, it doesn't really offer the kind of stuff that we want. It doesn't really offer that. Like,
Cameron Bond is the one to talk to.
yeah, because he's helped run the section at PAX in previous years.
Yeah, because I know you reached out to me in 2020 and said, "Oh, can I borrow this, for PAX?" And I said, "Yeah, no worries." But then obviously COVID hit, so that never actually eventuated. But yeah, I'm sure all of us, if the offer was there to knock, like, my FM Towns, which I've got, which looks basically brand new. I don't think I pulled it out in 6 months. And when I do, I basically just play Bubble Bobble on it. But it's seriously, it needs to be used more often. For a lot of the stuff. And let's face it, most of us are collectors. But how often do we actually use a lot of the equipment that we've actually got?
Wouldn't it be amazing if PAX or something said, "Hey, imagine if they could get all of us together and we say, right, David's going to bring this, Anthony's going to bring this, Simi's going to bring this, Craig's going to bring that, Pat's going to bring whatever Pat's going to bring."
Yeah.
That would be amazing. And we could all be there. We'd have a great time. People would come and have a look at this peculiar stuff they've never seen before. And
yeah,
I mean, amongst all of us in the group, we've got some pretty amazing stuff that people have never seen before or would really like to see.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I've got photos on my iCloud of some of the previous years, or if they've all been on my main camera, not my phone. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I actually went to the original Game On exhibition at the Barbican.
Oh, me too.
London. Yeah. So that was incredible. Oh, so Game On in the game
in ACMI.
ACMI. But I was there probably 10 years before then. That was at the Barbican Centre in London. That was incredible. Yeah, and that's coming up to 20 years since that ran. So it's pretty crazy. Like because the big thing at the time, they had Xboxes up at Game On as the latest and greatest. now that would be considered vintage computing nowadays.
I remember going to the first Australian computer exhibition in the basement of the Sydney Town Hall, and that would have been about 1979, 78, something like that. And that was where I saw Space Invaders for the first time as a arcade game. That just blew my mind. It was just like, oh wow, that's so cool. I mean, I was like 15 at the time, but that was just amazing. And
in the basement of the Sydney Town Hall.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Yeah, so I mean, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, the one thing that I've often wondered is you hear about Classic Gaming Expo or Portland
Retro Gaming
Expo, and you're just like, ugh. Or any of the VCFs, and and you hear that and you're like, oh, and you hear like on podcasts, we're going to fly out for the weekend. And you're just like,
yeah. The next VCF West I'm actually going to be in the States, but it's on the exact weekend where I have to work, where I can't get away. If it was any other weekend before or after, it wouldn't be a problem. I'd be in the States, not a problem. But that exact weekend, I have to be in a specific place at a specific time that will prevent me from being there. And I'll be like less than a couple of 100 miles away.
Not good.
It annoys me what they have in America. Like I've seen some of the behind the scenes where they've got the vendor alley and US thing, and I'm looking through and going, that's a ZX Spectrum. That's an Amstrad 664. What are they doing in America? And they're like gone up for sale like $50. I'm going, over there.
My friend in America, the stuff he's got, and he just says, "Oh yeah, I saw this, blah 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 blah," and they were like throwing it out, so I grabbed it in the skip, before they threw it out. It's like my eyes are bugging out. It's like, oh my god, Amstrads, IBM PC stuff, Z80 stuff. It's like they just have phenomenal stuff that they just throw away, and it's what we see on eBay and stuff is a infinitesimal fraction of what they're throwing away on a daily basis. And my friend's house is a attempt to collect some of that before it goes out, but he's definitely drinking from the fire hose as far as that's concerned.
You've probably seen some of those YouTube videos where people pick up semi-trailers worth of apples.
Yeah.
My God, what are you going to do with all of them? And they just have them all stacked up high.
That's what I should take a photo of what's in my garage. I've got a mezzanine level in my garage, and there's literally 20 IBM PCs that he sent to me on a pallet. And that didn't even make a noticeable dent in the collection that he's got. And I've got to get to them some after the K Pros and the Micro Bs. Eventually, I'll get to the IBM PCs.
And where did they come from? What did he like? Go to a bank and say, "Give me your stuff"?
Yeah, basically, he lived in Silicon Valley for like 25 years and knew everybody that was anybody. And he basically just collected this stuff and did like we all do, which is you get the first storage unit and then that fills up, and then you get the second storage unit and that fills up. Then you get the third storage unit and that starts to fill up. And then you have to move house and realize that you've got 3 storage units that you've been paying money on. It's like, crap, I have to consolidate this collection a little bit. And he's got Apple IIIs. He's the guy who collects Apple leases.
I haven't seen that episode of Storage Wars where they open up and they see all these leases in there and like,
David and I have a mutual pact, is that if either of us, God forbid, has an accident, our wives have been instructed to contact the other person before they sell anything, because if they sell it for what we told them we pay for it, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. It's like, we come in and say, hate to break it to you, but you're sitting on a gold mine, right? Don't believe what Dave told you he paid for it, or my wife don't believe what I paid for it. It's like, you can now retire safely. If you'd known how much this was worth, you would have killed us years ago, because you're good now. You're good.
Could you imagine though, if you got 7 storage units full of 5150s and you pass away and you say, you know what? These are worth a fortune. Where do you start?
Oh, well, that's right.
Yeah, it's just like, just take this shit away.
Well, that's exactly what happens. And that's where David picked up a lot of this stuff. It's that people, these guys die in Silicon Valley, and their widow comes around and says, look, Fred's got this garage full of stuff, I don't know. And you walk in there and there's a Bridgeport machining mill, and there's like, this stack of Apple leases that he never really got around to doing with, that he got from this guy who used to work at Apple, and they're all like pre-production units that no one's ever seen before. And there was a few documents to go with it, and you open it up and it's like the original handwritten notes from the guys who developed it. And, we were going to throw it out, but I thought I might give you a call.
Thrown it out. Oh
it's like, oh my God, and David's got all this stuff that it just continue. He keeps bringing it up. It's like, oh yeah, did I tell you about this other thing? And it's like, no. Like, you've been holding. I've known you for 20 years, and you're only telling me now that you've got this stuff.
Okay, what's that frame disc behind you?
That is a CPM 2.2 boot disc for a California Computer Systems S100 system.
Cool.
My father had one of those that ran his wholesaling business back in the day, back in the 80s. And he eventually replaced it with a Sanyo MBC that went to 5.25 inches and a hard disk. But that's what it used to run off 2 of those. And I managed to snag the disc before he got rid of it all. That's about the only bit I have left of it. Oh, no, actually, I have some of the original CPM manuals back when they used to actually tell you how to modify the operating system. So I still have all the CPM manuals for it. But yeah,
nice.
I got various bits of ephemera and some CPU chips down there, some various CPUs down there and everything. So,
I got a question for the Brains Trust. Quick one. What's an Amiga 1010 external drive worth if you're gonna buy one?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I've bought a few recently.
Yeah, working, they're worth a couple of $100 almost sometimes if people got stupid money for them.
Oh, not far. There was 2 on eBay that sold just in the last couple of days, and I just put on a stupid bid for $100. Like, it was not going to go any higher than that. And one sold for like 198 or something, and then another one I think was like 140 or something like that. I thought, that's too rich for me, just for an external drive. But
was that the big floppy drive?
Yes,
yeah, the big ones, yeah.
Yeah, I've got one of those sitting here doing nothing at the moment. Actually, I need to just test it out. But yeah, I've seen them go for about that price.
Yeah.
They often sell for up to 240 in working condition. Just stupid prices, but yeah, often you'll get my box one for about 240.
All right, so
A sidecar sold last week. They don't come up very often for the Amiga 1000.
Yeah, sidecars go for big dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
about
might be
$2.5 grand with the PC expansion emulator in it. Yeah.
but
Yep.
sometimes you have to wonder why. Just put a Raspberry Pi in there. You know? But
Yeah, no, I got lucky a little while back. I picked up a sidecar for $600 and it's fully working. So, and I've had people beating my door down trying to say, "Oh yeah, I'll give you 1,000, give you 1,500."
That one that just sold a few days ago, it would have been $2 grand landed in Australia.
It's amazing
that's a
though,
fair deal
visiting
nowadays.
e-waste skips and that as well. A friend of mine's rescued, let's see, 500, the external floppy drive, 2 monitors, mouse, power supply, all just in the local e-waste skip.
Wow.
And
You get lucky sometimes.
yeah, in his words, the bin doth provide.
Well, our local council used to actually sell the computers, but then one day some brilliant person decided that they go through the hard drives on the machines and found data from a business, and then decided to ring up the business and let them know that they had their computer with their data on it, and that shut down everything.
Yeah, our local council used to have a tip store where they'd sell stuff, and then some person got hurt or something on site because they did something stupid and they canned the whole thing. So everything now straight into landfill. They've got people walking around stopping you from picking stuff up. They won't let you take stuff back. Even in the big skip for e-waste, they won't let you take anything out of it.
Yeah, my friends sort of made a bit of a friendship with a couple of the guys there who just go, yeah, just go have a just quietly, don't tell the boss.
I got something awesome from one of those about 25 years ago. It's a Commodore 64 display cabinet from Toy World.
Cool.
Wow.
It was in the e-waste. They had our Hollywood green bottles stacked on it. I said, "Oh, can I buy that cabinet?" He said, "No, what am I going to stack my bottles on if you buy that?" And I said, "I'll bring you another cabinet." So I grabbed the van, did the swap over.
that is so awesome. Talking about the e-waste and privacy. When I worked for Telecom, and that's how long ago it was as Telecom before it was Telstra. Our network operations center / support desk was out on Dandenong Road. It's probably still there actually. But now I was talking to the service desk manager, and she was saying that there was they used to get this flood of calls from people asking for support for their computers, and they ring us and said, "Oh, so what business unit are you in?" She goes, "I'm at home." "What do you mean you're at home?" He goes, I live at home. So, "Do you work for Telecom?" "No." He says, "How did you get this number?" He goes, "It's on the PC." She goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, and turned out after a lot of toing and froing, when Telecom upgraded all their 386s to 486s, they basically sold them all off in lots, and people just basically repackaged and sold them again, wiped the hard drive and sold them off. They never removed the actual help desk stickers that were actually stuck on every piece.
Oh no.
So I kept getting these phone calls from people actually wanting support. And I said we had to give it to them because they rang up. So anyway, that was probably the closest I suppose we had to data breaches. All the drives are actually, well, as you probably would have imagined, all the drives are wiped before they're actually gone out. But yeah, no one thought about actually removing the actual stickers from the actual.
Yeah, my 486 came from an exchange.
Yeah.
Directly from an exchange.
Did it still have the stickers on it?
Oh yeah, everything on it, everything. Yeah. I wiped the drive and yeah, I did the right thing.
Anyway.
The Apple One on eBay is going to end tonight in about 5 hours. It's currently at 336,000 US.
Oh, it's going cheap.
It's a bargain. Yeah.
So which one of you guys are buying that?
I would buy it, but it's a bit much. But it's a nice setup. It's got tape drive and the wood and the monitor.
Is that the one where the chip has been signed by Woz or something?
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I've always wondered? If you sell something on eBay for $335,000,
Big fees.
well, it's not the fees. How do you pay that amount of money? Like your credit card limit is not going to work.
I think you'd have to do a direct
Escrow.
transfer via escrow. Yeah.
Escrow.
Yeah. I mean, I've just never seen that sort of. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I did a $50,000 charge on mine once.
On your credit card or?
Oh, debit, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Look, you're missing the point. If you can afford $350,000 or more on that, you have people who take care of that for you.
Yeah, you probably.
Hey, what about
Dark alley, late at night? Yeah.
How many of us are there?
Briefcase.
What's 336 divided by however many of us there are?
12.
Do a bit of a timeshare.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not that interested.
Just rattle the can a bit. You know?
Still, look at $30,000 or $40,000 a pop. That's still a bit more than I can convince the finance manager to approve at this point in time.
That's a heck of a lot of money for something that I don't think we would get a whole lot of enjoyment out of.
Right.
Yeah, I would get much more fun out of learning fun too than I would out of a $300,000 Apple One.
I'll have a look for them in a minute. I can't remember where I put them. Yeah.
Hey, not Apple One rare, but just if anyone's going to have it, this group might. Anyone in this group actually own a Jupiter Ace?
Yeah, I have one. Yep.
Are they worth collecting, Pat, or is it just like? It's just rare because there's so few of them.
It's not one of the it's not one of the items that I kind of use too often. It's kind of there more for being a completionist than anything else, but depends how much you like fourth, I guess. So,
funny enough, I learnt fourth at uni. Not that I can actually program it anymore, but it was like growing up with computer and video games, and they always had, there was like two computers or three actually that I really wanted. The Jupiter Ace, the Elan Enterprise 128, and the Sword M5, basically the ones. And I thought, and I've never had any of the three, but they're all like.
I have all those, including the CGI based Sword M5. So I've got a UK one, and I've got a couple of different models of the different Japanese ones.
Yeah. So if we ever do a game on or a retro vintage, then Pat's the person we want to rate his computer library for to show them. So
I didn't. Can I share something, Anthony?
Yep, the sharing is available.
Okay. Steve and George might enjoy this possibly. I don't know. We'll find out shortly. As an impulse buy, about 3 weeks ago, one morning, I saw this pop up in the US.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Cool.
Does anyone know what that is?
Yes, that's by Amiga.
Yes,
that's that crappy joystick they tried.
You can tell that by the way it says Amiga on there. Very good.
Yeah. So it was 112 US.
It's like a
but I saw it come up and I was like, I've never seen one of those before. So I went bang, got it. The other one that
what do you? Sorry for those of us who are not completely conversant in everything Amiga. What is that? Do you stand on it or?
Yeah, it's for the Atari 2600.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a control. So funnily enough, this is like years ago now, but similarly on one of the Amiga forums somewhere, someone was selling the Amiga ColecoVision joysticks as well, which I'd never even seen or heard of before. The person said, "Hey, I have these for sale," and I went, "I'll buy them." Done, bang. So they're not Commodore branded, Stephen, but interesting history there.
Yeah, one of those quirky things.
Yeah.
Cool. I've noticed that Mike's just popped in, and he's obviously just popped out. There he is. And I was just wondering, because you're the last person to talk to. We're just shooting the breeze. What have you been doing? You've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been watching, but tell everybody about it.
More hardware hacks. That's what keeps me sane. From my day job drives me insane. So this is what keeps me going. So The Mister. Yeah, I got my Mister. So finally turned up, which is cool. So I've been playing with that and going through the joys of trying to get the RGB HV connection working on my PVM. So that and assembling it and yeah, just playing with it. So finally I got it all working. 3 cables later, and that'll pay me. That'll make me more aware of what I buy on eBay in the future. Too many snap decisions on cables that I thought were right instead of reading the description. So I have a lot of spare video cables now, which is great. But it looks good. It's running. It's all together. Surprisingly, I didn't break it putting it together. Yeah, it's really good fun. I like it. And aside from that, just trying to something which I don't think I've posted on anywhere, but I've been trying to integrate a Pi 1541 into my SX64. So the soldering iron's been working overtime. I think I'm almost there. So yeah, that's about it lately, I think.
Cool. No worries. Well, you're not going to like this, Pat, but I'm going to wrap it up. You're not going to like it either, Mike. But yeah, look, unless there's anything else we want to talk about, I think we might call this a session. Any final thoughts?
I've got a question for anyone out there who's got a Mister. Has running it on the CRT, has anyone been able to work out how you can flip the video games that come out horizontally?
I only use mine on HDMI, and there's definitely yeah, and I know there's options there for the scaler. I'm not sure what the deal is for CRT support. I'd have to check the docs. Unfortunately,
having a Mister with both a CRT and HDMI, the good news and bad news, Mike, you can do it. You basically have to grab your monitor and just turn it 90 degrees. The answer is no, you can't. You actually, with the CRT or analog output, you can't actually do the screen rotation. You only do it, it's only available on the digital out. You can flip the screen, so but you can't actually turn it 90 degrees. So it's not optimal, but how I've got it is that I've set up one of my Misters to actually have output to a television, and the other one actually to a VGA monitor. So if I wanted to play like 1943, you have to play it on the VGA, on the actual VGA monitor, not on the CRT. It's the only way to do it, unless you physically want to actually turn the actual monitor itself. Yeah. So sorry.
I thought there was that Rob alluded to it. There is an option there called VGA, enable VGA scaler, which I thought might have allowed me to do that, but I haven't. I have been reading, and I only just literally came across that little piece of info about this VGA scaler option, which supposedly enables VGA resolutions and things over the analog connection. But I just wasn't sure if anyone had gone down that path yet.
Yeah, changing the resolution would just involve changing the clock rate of the VGA signal, whereas doing a rotation, you'd need a frame buffer to do that. And yeah, those guys are all about minimizing screen lag. So having a extra frame or two delay to do rotation would be something that they would say, no, it takes an extra 12 milliseconds.
Yeah, I mean that's why you definitely get in the HDMI output. But yeah, on the analog one, it's designed to basically mimic the original timings.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I'd never really thought about that. And I've been running the Mister on a HDMI TV in the lounge room since I got it, and it just never occurred to me that when I plugged it into the analog video that I'd be coming across this, and I was like, I must be missing something, but I've been Googling it, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm screwed.
So what you're saying is we need to develop a pair of glasses that has prisms in them. You can get those ones that invert, but getting ones that like rotate by 90 degrees, that'd be really cool. You could just look at the screen and
Mike, if you can find it, the best monitor to buy, or looking at the Mr. forums, would be the Dell 2007. It's a 4:3 monitor, but it also has component DVI and VGA, I think, inputs into it. So it's actually a really desirable monitor. But if like a 1920 or 1917 or something, any of the Dell 19, the 4:3 Dell monitors are fine. I've got them because they're rotatable as well. So if you
okay.
Yeah, so they're a good option too.
Well, LGR had a nice monitor. I don't know if you guys saw this particular video of his, but it's a CRT that's rotatable.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I forgot the name of it.
The Mac monitor, what was it called?
Oh, the
Radius.
It was a PC, but it was like a really unusual brand. I hadn't heard of it, but there
was a Mac monitor called the Pivot that you could actually literally pivot, and it had a little mercury switch in it that would detect which mode it was in.
Yeah, I think I remember the Radius. Right.
Yeah, Radius Pivot. Yeah. Now that would be gold. To get one of those would be right, but I'm pretty lucky because I've got
they're worth a fortune.
I saw.
The controller card is worth a ton too.
Well, I am lucky. I've got a small room, so my Mister and the PVM sit, pretty close to the HDMI monitor I've got here. So it's not a huge thing, and I didn't really buy the Mister for that so much. It was more for the computer cores and the console cores. So it's not a biggie, but it's nice to be able to have a 2 meter VGA cord, HDMI cord running to the monitor that I've got that sits to my sort of right.
If the PVM's a little 12-inch PVM, you could probably make yourself a jig that just rotated the entire thing.
No, I went for the 14, and it's bloody heavy.
Yeah, they are.
The Amiga core is amazing on the Mister.
Especially when you set up Mega AGS if you don't want to have a normal Workbench install.
Which is what I've got. Yeah, Mega AGS on Minimig. It's awesome. Yeah.
So I should Google Mega AGS.
Yeah. It's basically a pre-set up hard drive image that's got a whole bunch of games, and it's just like this very nice front end that boots straight in, so you don't have to go through Workbench to load stuff. Basically, Workbench loads, then it loads it, but you can quit back to Workbench if you want to run applications. And everything's pre-configured, and if you're running you're plugged up to the HDMI monitor, it's got custom. It talks to the Minimig core to set custom scaling, so you don't get that classic squished Amiga, 200 lines squished up towards the top of the display because they didn't reset to the overscan for PAL modes.
Yeah,
cool.
And it supports RTG graphics too. So if you want to get out of was it 256 by 200 or whatever it is, or 512 by 256, you can actually run it up to any resolution you like as well with it. They've also done some amazing stuff. The Atari ST core, so you've even played. The Mister is fantastic. So those are the Mega 65. If they can port the Mister cores over the Mega 65, you guys are absolutely laughing. Yeah.
I did quickly try the ST core, but I've got a feeling I may have a problem there because it apparently runs at a different sync rate, and the PVM just it chucked a little bit of a hissy fit when that loaded up. So although again, we'll Google and see if that's just maybe a setting or something. Still finding my feet in terms of running stuff out of the analog side of it. So, but the Amiga worked straight away, which is cool. The Commodore 64 one, of course, worked straight away.
Deb, you played with the REU files on the Commodore 64, Mike?
The REU?
Yeah, REUs are like basically movie clips. Like they take up 16 mega RAM, so it's actually built into the core. But you can download a whole bunch of REU demos. So there's ones like the most famous one is probably the Dallas demo, which is the someone's digitized the opening the intro to the Dallas TV series. If you remember old J.R. Ewing.
I do. Yeah.
And actually, someone's also done the Are You Keeping Up with the Commodore? That's also available as well for it. So it's there's some pretty awesome
This
stuff.
runs through the Mr. C64 core.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
If you're interested, just drop me a note on Facebook or something, Mike, and I can send you the files. They're fairly. I can just put them on a Dropbox or something for you.
Cool.
If you can't find them.
Yeah, thank you. I'll have a look at that. It is such a cool thing. I mean, I think I can probably say that I've got the next 2 days off. I managed to score an additional day to make it sort of a long weekend, and I'm pretty certain that I'm going to spend most of it playing with the Mister. I reckon it's just so cool. I really didn't muck around with it much when I had it in the lounge room. I just fired it up to play mostly arcade games. I left the computer cores till I got the MMS side of things, and it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
Is the Mister like RetroPie, or is it something completely different? Or
it's a hardware simulator. So
it's based on an FPGA rather than a computer. So the Pi is an ARM-based little microcontroller, well, not a little microcontroller, system on a chip, whereas the Mister's an FPGA. I think what are they using these days? They're using one of the Altera cores.
It's the Jurassic DE10 Nano is the board.
Yeah, that's right. So that's right. Yeah.
So it's what is it? I think it's a Cyclone 5.
Yeah. Yeah, with extra hardware on it to do all the video and everything.
Yeah, and then it's got the ARM. It's got the ARM that does like
core on there as well.
Yeah, loading discs and video stuff and whatnot.
And it's pretty powerful. They've actually just released the PlayStation 1 core, and I think they've got a souped-up version of the 486. So you're basically topping out of at a high-end 486, and the PS1 probably, and the Saturn, they probably won't get to Nintendo 64, but for an FPGA, it's very, very impressive what they've actually been able to do.
And you get a lot of like really esoteric stuff on there. Like I've been enjoying mucking around with the X68000 core because I'm never going to be able to afford one of those for real. A bunch of obscure computers. There's some cool stuff like on the Game Boy Advance core, you can run the same game on 2 cores, so you can play multiplayer on the one system, and a lot of things like that.
Was the Mister what the guy used in the Retro Man Cave in his store? I don't know, Henry, you mentioned about that Retro Man, where he scanned the title and then it kicked in.
That's the Mister. Yep. Yeah, he did a whole. Probably the best Mister one was if you really wanted to delve into it. My Life in Gaming. They did I think it's a 90-minute.
2 hours. Nearly 3 hours, I think.
A video of it, and the other big one, the other good one was Modern Vintage Gamer, local guy. He's also done a review of it. The only one that I wouldn't recommend would be Short Circuit. Everyone else's videos are pretty good.
All right, I'll have a look.
Yeah,
I'm just about to throw the My Life in Gaming video in the chat, so cue that up and enjoy that. It's a really comprehensive watch. It's nearly 3 hours long.
All right, Pat.
Beautiful. Have a look.
Get the popcorn.
Pat, I'm going to show you something. This photo was taken in July 2012. Before I start sharing my screen, I'm going to queue up to here. So clearly I didn't value. So Mike saw my collection when I collected way back when, and I went bonkers. And I was looking at the photos of how big it was, and it was enormous. So I had to liquidate because I couldn't have so much stuff. So I'm going to share you a photo of the stuff that I sold. How do I do that? Okay, so this is the Hitachi S1 system.
That's the S110, yep.
All right, and this is what went with the auction. So there's the computer.
Yep.
And is this going to work? Oh, of course. Okay, yeah, photo. Yep. So you get all that stuff. Where's the disk drive? There's a mouse for it.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's go. Hang on. Where's the disk drive with all the software? Oh, wait, there's the disk drive.
So that's actually a Peach disk drive. That one.
Okay. So, there's Peaches because I sold all my Peaches.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe I didn't have it. Yeah. There's it running basic on a 1084.
So it must be using the composite.
Look how I did it. that's pretty legit. I was just having a look at some of these photos because I was obviously selling a fair bit of stuff. There was a cool computer here, and I regret selling it. Where is it? Here it is. The Xerox 820.
Oh wow, yeah. I saw one of those on eBay not that long ago in the US, like the 820.
Yeah, twin
Yeah, I
8-inch
think I saw a
drive.
keyboard come up for sale for one actually somewhere.
Yeah, that's all the stuff I had for it. I had heaps of stuff for it, and the manuals were really. And I look. There's my Mattel Aquarius that I sold because I decided that I couldn't
How could you
possibly
sell
want to use
that?
that. So look at the software. Got the beautiful.
Oh wow. See, so when I saw that 820, I was kind of staring at it, but part of whenever I look at these things, I go, can I get the software for it? And so looking at that looked pretty good.
Yeah, it worked. I can remember when it had one of those had a massive reefer in it, and it scored the carpet. Anyway, so I just thought I'd share that with you. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't see a disc that said S1 Disc Basic in those.
Well, I mean, I had S1 Disc Basic when I had the S1 originally back in the day, but yeah, trying to get it now.
Sure, you can get an image of it.
You would think so. Trying to find Hitachi software is really hard. Really hard. If anyone's got any tips, I'm all.
And I'm back in Japan later on this year, so I can check out the usual haunts. So I pretty much go to every retro obscure one, the ones that aren't even listed on the English websites. So
yeah, I will look if you happen to see anything Hitachi related, but yeah, it's that stuff basically because I'm a bit of a Japanese computer enthusiast, and that seems to be one of the ones that I don't know. It's just hard to get stuff not even at a reasonable price. I mean, it's just hard. Stuff just doesn't even come up. So
is it stuff in Akihabara, Henry, or just all over?
Basically, just all over. So you know how we've got. I'm just trying to think of an equivalent. So you know how we've got like EB Games here. There's a Japanese equivalent, all in the Japanese language. So you walk in and they've got yeah. Oh, it's basically like a retail version of Hard Off. But you walk in and they've got Famicom titles, and they've got you can buy 5 for 1,500 yen, and they're like A-grade titles, just ridiculous stuff. And if you'd buy them in Akihabara, they would be like 3 or 4 times the price. So, but you have to go. No one speaks any English whatsoever, so you basically have Google Translate with them. But they know enough. If I ask for MSX or if I ask for FM Towns or something, they know what I'm talking about. But typically, when I ask for anything like Sharp X6800, to go no with stuff. But there are heaps of Famicom, heaps of those type of places. But but I always like the thrill of the hunt when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, so people always go, so did you go to Universal Studios or did you go to Disneyland? No, I took a train 90 minutes on the west of Tokyo to go to a place called Hard Off just to see if they had any retro video games or consoles. And I go,
yeah. I have the same thing when I go to the US. They go, oh, so you went to Seattle? Did you go to Space Needle? No. Did you go to this? No. Where'd you go to? Well, there was this computer place down in the south end of town that I had to catch, an Uber for 20 minutes to get to. And it was in a really sketchy part of town, but I found some really good little PC parts there, and they just look at you and shake their head and walk away.
Did you visit? Is it Pink Gorilla? Did you visit Pink? Is it Pink Gorilla?
Pink Gorilla.
Oh,
that's a retro video game store, so that might. I was going to
say that sounds like the different other kind of.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty
male interest. Male interest establishment.
The Pink Gorilla.
A Pink Gorilla.
I think it's Pink Gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah.
In Seattle.
In Seattle.
Yeah, it's a game store, so it's probably not your purview.
Okay.
Yeah. It's run by a YouTuber called Kelsey Lewin, I think is her name. Yeah, but if you ever follow a guy called Metal Jesus.
Oh yes. Yeah, he's good.
So Kelsey is is in some of the videos, and she's got her own store called, I think it's Pink Gorilla in
Cool.
Seattle.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
When I went to Amsterdam, I first thing I did was went to a retro computer show.
Exactly. As you do.
And then you visited Pink Gorilla.
I would have
I might have seen some there, but
I would have gone visited Marvin. What's his last name? Droogsma?
Droogsma, yeah.
I would have gone visited Marvin's place. Go, show me the back room. Tell me what you haven't got on display. I want to buy. So good stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, that guy, he's certainly lives in the right place.
Yeah, everyone in the world knows, just about knows him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
How's your Mega 65 going, Dave?
Oh, I think it's been on for about an hour. I've been too busy.
Did you get that keyboard? Were you lucky?
Work in progress. I'm talking to the guy, so it's just about a done deal. So thanks for the heads up, mate.
Good. I'm glad, because I remember you saying you've been after one for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was trawling through and I saw that, I was like, oh.
And that Commodore guy never got back to you, did he, Dave?
No. He sent me some photos of that whole lot, and I said, yeah, I'm interested. I'm keen to have a look because I'm in Geelong. And yeah, didn't hear anything. So that's all right. Yeah. It is what it is. I'm sure that one, there was 1,000 people that sort of said, oh, I'll give you $500 for the lot sort of thing. But yeah. No, look, I've got enough stuff anyway, so it would have been grab one or two things and move the rest on. So
the one that interests me was that close to the South Australian border, someone posted up it was 2 Phoenix A1000s.
I saw that.
1084 monitors, a whole bunch of stuff, but
yeah.
like literally like a middle of nowhere, like really the middle of nowhere. It'll be an 8 or 9 hour drive for anyone to actually get to that person.
Yeah, I was about an hour away from it this week actually. So
did anyone see that free to give away Atari 800 XL in WA?
No.
Yeah. Actually, someone I messaged someone about it. It was over there, and one of the members of the Amiga user group over there managed to pick it up. So
yeah, what's happening in Perth? There was a guy giving away a free microbee in Perth as well this week. 128K microbee, giving it away. It's like, wow.
Oh no, that's what it was. I was thinking of. Sorry, no, I was thinking. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was Atari. But
a little bit far for me to go. I've been known to drive. I've been known to drive to Melbourne to pick up stuff, but driving to Perth is a little bit difficult.
Yeah. I'm driving to Canberra to pick up some stuff next week. So
we had a known who rang Steve Knox, who's based in WA. Said, "Hey Steve, there's a microbee for you. Go pick it up."
I actually know an ex-microbee guy in Perth, but by the time I saw it, again, like someone else was saying, by the time I saw it, it was already
it was going
asked for by 17 people, and yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. All right, everybody. Well, for a start of a show where we thought that maybe we weren't going to get past 45 minutes, I think we've done pretty well to string it out for 2 hours. So well done, everybody. Okay. Well, I would suggest that the next catch up that we'll be having will be around. I'm going to push it late. I'm going to say, just for my own benefit, Sunday, the 17th of July. So it would have been normally the 10th, but I'm pushing the third week out because I'm physically not going to be here on the 10th.
You're going to be at a computer show or a computer fair or
that's right.
Or somewhere, aren't you?
That's right. I'm going to some place called the Pink Gorilla.
Exactly.
Which just happens to be located in the Gold Coast. No, in all seriousness, I'm going on holidays for 2 weeks. But so we'll make it that date on the 17th of July. Thank you very much for coming. And I'll see you in a month.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy your holiday, mate.
Thanks.
Yeah, have fun.
See you guys, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.